Yes, a P51 Mustang from Harbor Freight. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's going to be crappy. That's the point. It is crappy. But what you do is you buy this guy right here. This P51 radio-controlled airplane is $99 on the shelf. And if you get one of them 20% off coupons, like every guy gets in his magazine, then it's supposed to be like 80, but mine was 85 with sales tax. Anyway, basically what I'm going to do, and I've already started, is I'm going to pluck all of the crappy electronics, like this teeny tiny servo arm, crappy servo. I noticed there are 3-wire servos, but they've got little things on them that is supposed to prevent them from going into a Spectrum receiver. But I want to test with a hobby knife if I can carve that off and use this servo, because if I can, that'd be sweet. But anyway, it is a 4-channel. These ailerons do move, but it does not come with a steerable tail wheel. So if you're fine with just having a tail dragger, that's cool. But I'm going to rip that off, and I'm going to take the tail wheel from this plane right here, and I'm going to adapt that whole mechanism onto there, because I like having a steerable tail wheel. I'm also going to put those wheels onto the bottom of here, because it came with these, and these would work for pavement, but our airfield is just grass, and you have to have giant wheels. But these are rubber, so I'm probably going to take and use this as the tail wheel. Really bad filming right now, but use that as a tail wheel. Anyway, yeah, so you just want to unscrew these servos. Don't take out the servo box, because it looks like it's going to be okay. Just save the screws, screw in your new servos. I mean, you can just go ahead and pluck this crap out. It's all held in with tape too, by the way. It's not like anything special. Hold on. Here's the receiver, and I'm actually going to keep all of this equipment and try not to break anything, because I want to make a foam glider slash, I don't know, just a homemade foam plane. But yeah, so you've got a switch here. I'm assuming that's for binding. I won't need that once I put a Spectrum receiver. On-off switch, I don't really need that. Probably going to take that out and patch it with a piece of styrofoam. Don't need this sticker on here anymore, because we're going to a modern radio setup. And one of the reasons that you could buy a brushless motor and put a LiPo battery on here and fly it, but this thing has a tiny prop. And by the way, this is such crap quality, the propeller does not go on the shaft. It won't fit. The propeller needs to be bored out. But it's like a 6x3 propeller. But anyway, I'm going to start ripping this thing apart, and I'll come back in a second. Alright guys, I just found something that's going to save you a little bit of money. I haven't plugged it in and tried it out yet, but you can still use these servos that came out of the airplane, which means that you don't have to take them out of the box, out of the servo tray. Okay guys, so I've got the new servo in. It's got a longer horn on it, or what gear thing, whatever. But I'm doing the servos with the remote right now, and I do get more angle than I did before with the other one, but the right aileron gets way more angle than the left, and I know it's sitting on my leg right now, but it's not a whole lot more, but it could make a difference. Well, I know the problem is with these things. If these were like, you know, 1/4 of an inch taller, it would get way more pull, and I might change that in the future, but I'm definitely going to keep assembling and fly it and see how it works. Alright guys, I've been working, so if you're doing this on your own Mustang and you're adding servo arms, you're going to need to cut them like this. Now, you could go halfway in the middle and do like 4 holes and 4 holes, and they wouldn't hit each other. The short one is the rudder, and the long one is the elevator. What's really cool about this is the 11.1 volt battery slides right up in there, and you can see it, and I'm going to stick the ESC right next to it, and then the receiver can just go right there where the old receiver went. Like this, it's almost like this plane is an exact replica of like a Horizon Hobby p51 Mustang or something, and just some third-party China factory made it and put really cheap, crappy electronics in it. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I mounted up the receiver. It's in there really good, and way down in there you can see my ESC. There's actually a flat spot of foam. Okay, there's a lot more, but there's actually a flat spot of foam right down in there, and the wires come out nicely to right here to give a lot of extra slack for hooking up your brushless motor. Now the battery situation is also nearly perfect. Hopefully that camera angle is good, but the battery can either go in like this or it can go in vertically if you want it to, but I find it's more stable if you do it horizontally. Okay guys, I don't think I mentioned it in this video, but I did cut the cowl of the front of the plane off with the hobby knife. I just ran it around. There's a little groove. You'll see it. You can actually see it. It's a silver piece right above where my hand is right now on the table, and the cowl. I cut it off so that I could have easier access for an engine mounting plate, and you could see it whenever I turned around and showed the nose of the plane, how that piece of plastic juts out. You will need to do this to your Mustang to make it easier to access and mount up and motor mounting plate. I also removed the two switches there, and I just plugged them with some foam from the packaging. Just take the knife and cut out some chunks and make them the right size, and put some glue on them and squeeze them in there. So if you can see, this beam right here that was connected to this plastic piece that was jutting out, I said I was going to pluck it out. I decided not to. One, because I got some channel locks and I pulled and pulled and pulled and couldn't get it. And two, I just decided to cut it, and I'm glad I didn't pull it out because it's hollow, which is perfect for a screw to go right into there, and it's already got the angle or whatever that the prop needs to be at. And so I made up this little plywood plate with a hole up top for the screw and a hole at the bottom for the plug wires for motor. Now I've taken the engine mounting plate or motor mounting plate, and I'm going to drill a hole all the way through. Right here, I just wanted to show you guys. And on the other side, these 4 holes are recessed. They've got countersinks to allow for the head of these screws right here to fit better, and that is what is going to hold on the motor. Now these holes up top here are very near the edge of this piece of plywood, and if they split out, then I'll get another piece of plywood and start over and make it a little wider and cut away some of this styrofoam right here. But as of right now, I'm going to drill some pilot holes, and then I've got some perfect screws for that, and that'll be how this baby mounts up. And I'm also going to that's a pan head screw, so I think it's pan head, I don't remember crap. Anyway, I'm going to countersink this just a little bit to where the screw fits down in there, because right now it's like it sticks out too far. I really don't know if you can see that, but I want it to be even with the engine mounting plate. That way it doesn't get in the way of the electric motor at all. So I'm going to get on that, and then I'll come back whenever I'm done. Okay, I did a little more on it. As you can tell, there's a countersink hole, there's 4 other holes, the hole's drilled. I got the motor mounted onto the little plate thing. So what I'm going to do first is, right now, I'm going to poke all these holes, all these wires through these holes, like that, and then take my screw. I don't know what the size of this screw is. It's 1 inch long, and it's like just under 1/4 of an inch, like thread diameter. The head of the screw is like 3/8 of an inch. But anyway, those aren't exact measurements. That's just like, you know, my tripod's worn out, so it's like super flimsy now. I have a homemade tripod for my GoPro. Gotta screw that in nice and snug. Don't want to over tighten it, and that can't move at all. I don't need to have anything else behind there.
Actually, Travis from the past, you do need to add stuff on there because that screw gets loose after you fly it a little bit. Yes, guys, you do need to add foaming glue of some kind. I would suggest Gorilla Glue. Just run it around the edges of the piece of plywood and put water with a small brush on the foam. It's not going to hurt it. And let the Gorilla Glue foam up for a few hours, and then once it fully hardens, you should be able to take a knife and carve it away. You don't want to carve out the stuff that's sealing it to the side of the plane. You just want to carve out the excess that's making it too tall. And what that's going to do is keep your engine mounting plate from moving at all, because I actually had it to where I'd go full throttle and the plane would start doing loops because it was like the engine was pulling up. So yeah, don't listen to old Travis, listen to new Travis.
A2814-8 1000 kilovolt with an ESC that's compatible.
You're going to need a 30 amp ESC, by the way, guys.
To give you guys a little thrust test real quick with a 6, I guess by 3, I don't know what that is, but 6-inch propeller. So that's like 1/8 right there. I mean, it's blowing pretty good. There's half. It's blowing really good right now. I don't know how that looks on the camera. It might look pretty cool. That's not even half. That right there is half. It's about to blow stuff off the table. 3/4. It's pulling. It's chugging, man. I hope that tape doesn't come undone. Full power. It pulled the landing gear off and crap is flying off the table. And the aircraft is trying to take flight on the table. So, it's powerful.
Thanks for watching, guys. I did end up rambling on trying to find a freaking propeller, but basically I just bored out that stock size propeller and flew it the maiden flight, the next video, part 2, with the stock propeller just shoved onto the end of the motor because I didn't have a prop adapter. And I have since gotten a prop adapter and a couple of different size props. Like, you can use an 8x4.5 propeller. That's a really good size prop. But if you don't want to use one of those, I'm currently using a, I think it's a 5.5 or 6-inch by something quad prop. Hobbytown sells one, and I bought one whenever I went to one of their stores. And I also bought some Super Cub landing gear, like the oversized one. It's Dubro makes it, but it looks like the oversized Super Cub landing gear. But it's 3-inch diameter. It's taller than those. Those are like 2.5 inch, and it's slimmer, so it fits on the axles better. But yeah, that's basically how you make your Harbor Freight P51 Mustang not suck eggs. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe for more, and definitely check out the other videos. Watch the maiden, watch how I paint it up if you want to do the same Red Tails paint scheme. See you later.